Hi guys. So I think this is a very new setup. Background's the same, but lighting's a bit better, audio's a bit better. This is the professional Shure MV7, and I just want to do a little sharing. It's been a long time since I posted something on YouTube, and I just thought of just sharing a little bit of update, what's going on, why I haven't been so active. So I am back in my schooling era, and that's basically me, going back to school, getting my second diploma, but for a very specialized and specific reason. It's because I'm actually getting my diploma for courseware development for Skillsfuture. So for those who do not know, Skillsfuture is basically a government initiative where they basically encourage people to, keep on going for programs to upskill themselves to promote employability. And when I search up like this Skillsfuture stuff or the process of becoming a ACLP trainer or like a Skillsfuture trainer or courseware developer, nothing really comes up publicly on YouTube specifically. And I just thought of doing this little like podcast to just talk a little bit about the journey, the process, and what's new. And currently in my full-time job, I'm actually doing a lot of the training, the academic stuff, like the planning, the behind the scenes. And it gave me so much insight that I just thought of sharing the non-sensitive stuff, but also a very interesting perspective in terms of why you should take up this program. And well, turns out that even if you want to take up this program, it's not as simple as it seems. Because getting into the class requires some, or if not quite a long commitment. But not only that, it's because we are also bidding for classes. Can you imagine like bidding for classes? It's like you bidding for like concert tickets, though I don't go to concerts, but I can get the frustration, because like this morning, the last module that I have to take sold out in like 6 minutes, and there's only like 15 packs in a class, and it's just so unpredictable when the classes would come up before. Now it's a bit more structured. But yeah, that's a video for another time. But yeah, so what is Skillsfuture and why did I take this program up lah? Well, I guess it would be useful if I were to start with a backstory. All my life I've been in personal development, so I've been learning from different teachers, mentors from around the world, internationally speaking, right? And also in the past, one of my income stream has been about affiliate marketing, referral marketing, running my own business, traveling around the world as a nomad, building different agencies like digital agencies, the process of like hiring people, all that stuff, it kind of accumulated along the way. And so I realized that because of Skillsfuture and the way it is being structured, it is basically an initiative again to help people upskill. And in order to promote that, the government gives kind of like this Skillsfuture credit, which is basically used to offset the course fees, right? So let's say if the course fee is like $1,000, and depending on your age or the sponsorship, like are you self-sponsored or is it a company-sponsored thing, etc., etc., it is like subsidized up to like 70%. 90%, etc., etc., and you can then attend this class. Now, the difference between classes like Skillsfuture, like accreditation, and just a regular program is the amount of audits, the amount of gatekeep. I would put it this way. I'm not sure what's the word I'm looking for, but the idea is that it's being vetted very, very strictly. To give you an example, it's like if you were say a mobile app developer, which I was in the past, if you were to submit an app on the App Store, it takes about 24 hours to be approved. Whereas for an iOS app, it could take up to weeks, and then back and forth, on all the issues on the software, the codes. Like Apple is very, very particular about all these kind of things. And similarly, for Singapore's Skillsfuture framework, it takes anywhere from like minimum 3 weeks 3 weeks plus to just perhaps get a cost proposal approved, bing bong back and forth just to make the adjustments. And then perhaps you're going to take another few months to get it like publicly like published, versus Malaysia, which I also have the certification for. maybe just a few days, So it's very crazy in terms of the different standards, but rest assured that with certain standards come with certain responsibility, as well as certain, we do our job, you know what I mean? So for ACTA, usually it was previously called ACTA, but now it's called ACLP. It's basically now a 3-month program. I think the last time I did it was like earlier this year. So it's like the commitment was like twice a week, and sometimes it's like Zoom virtual, sometimes it's in class. My class was fully virtual, which I was very lucky for 3 months. So I could still travel, around and just, attend class. Because Skillsfuture has a very strict attendance, yeah. And so after 3 months, you graduate, you have the option to start taking up the diploma, which allows you to write the program. Versus in Malaysia, it's that one certificate allows you to do everything from writing the programs to conducting the class, etc., etc. I'm not going to go into the specifics on how do you build a training business. I'm not there yet, but I can say that from a student standpoint of view, it's a lot of work, And so right now, my objective moving forward in the next couple of months is to really build up my portfolio in getting used to, conducting the classes and assessment, right? So here's the other thing, right, is that you need to conduct assessment, or there's an assessment component to any Skillsfuture funded class. Okay, so with that said, it's quite interesting because, one of the things that I aspire to build along the way, don't mind my lighting, is that, what I see in the current market is that for me, coming from the personal development world, it is getting, unfortunately, I can see the industry dying because there's just so much information right now. And in my worldview, it's like all the trainers, the international speaking trainers, it's like, what are they sharing or teaching that is brand new? And unfortunately, a lot, perhaps I've seen too much, a lot of them is teaching about investment. A lot of them is teaching about just in the spectrum of investment, wealth creation, wealth transfer, wealth legacy, etc., etc., etc. Or the other end of the spectrum is, how do you build a business? How do you build a remote business? How do you build a digital business? And as a licensed financial advisor in Singapore, being regulated, and I get to see the world, and as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I'm here to tell you that I personally think that if you don't have your cash flow in place, like if you don't have a steady income stream, don't even think about investing in the market, the stock market, just don't do it. Because as my mentor would say, why put yourself in a position where let's say you were to invest, right? Why put yourself in a position where you're going to struggle to make those month-to-month payments? And what if that one day, that one particular period of time that you really need the cash flow and you just don't have it? That is worse, because you will end up lapsing the policies, for example. You're just struggling to, you're just so stressed about finding the next paycheck, the next income, just to supplement that income, versus now you have the freedom, you just worry about, or I would say stabilizing your income, building a very healthy, savings plan, your contingency saving, like maybe 6 months, 12 months. At least for me, I know my number, because it's like, it took me about 3 months to find a job, and let alone a good job, and way before that, my expenses, it just keeps eating up my savings. So, and before that, it's like I choose not to work. I choose to work for myself. I choose to venture out, and it just didn't turn out as I thought it would, being immature and young and free. So I realized that, having a very stable income, that's very important. And this is coming from me as once a business owner, as an entrepreneur. I'm telling you, you can ask any freelancer out there. It's tough. It's really, really tough building a business today, despite what you see online. At least this is my observation. It could be my limiting belief. Don't take my word for it. Try it. But based on my own observation, like watching my brother, watching myself, watching my friends, it's really hard just to close $1,000, let's say, service like coaching or like a social media or like a digital marketing service, or even be it like selling to corporate. And as like 难听一点, okay, or like as casual, or I'm just putting it out there, this is my own experience, I find it very hard. If you don't have the right connections, you don't have the right knowledge, you don't have the right testimonials, like there are just so many moving, parts to play. Versus, if you were to enter the B2C market, right, the public market, which is the Skillsfuture framework, then I personally find it very easy to penetrate the market so long as you have a good partner, like a approved training provider that you can license your course with. You have the certification to license your own program, or if not, you got to find someone to like write the programs for you, right? So that's another cost altogether, right? So end to end, like what I'm trying to say is that even if I want to build this business myself, it takes me at least 9 months. At least 9 months to get the proper certification to enter the B2C market. If you want to like just target the C2C market, like just you as a individual, as a freelancer, and you go out there, I find it very challenging as well. At least here in Singapore, because I personally feel like the Singapore market is quite cold. And we don't have the culture or the mentality to kind of, how do I say, like educate ourselves or put ourselves out there into the world to see what the world, actually is. And the desperation of like hunger is like the hunger of wanting to make more, or the hunger, the desire to learn more, the passion, the drive, it's not there. And I'm putting it out there because we all know it, but no one actually is saying it, And I don't blame society. I just kind of wish that more local people, more Singaporeans, go out there into the market and see how hungry our neighboring countries are, like Malaysia, like Thailand, like Vietnam, Philippines. Oh my God. If you go to like a seminar, like I'm not talking about like those brainwashing kind, okay, like legit kind. It's crazy how much desire that they have, to just want to learn, and every single opportunity that they can like grab to make a little bit more money, they take, because of the economy, because of how the society works. It's so, let me put it this way, we are so privileged, right? We are so privileged that we don't really actually realize how comfortable we are, how good we are, the opportunities that we have. Like, let's say an average Singaporean salary fresh out of school, let's say a diploma, is maybe at most $3,000, maybe 3,500 if you push it. But perhaps for a degree, it starts from 3,000 onwards to perhaps $5,000, right? And let's not calculate like the deduction of taxes and CPF and stuff. We are like way ahead of Asia. Like literally, if you go to YouTube right now and watch and type out like millennials bankrupt, like documentaries about like Korea having this South Korea is having like the issues about finding work. China is also having issues with that. It's crazy. It's really crazy how, because of their volume, they have so much graduate, but they don't have enough jobs. No, let me put it this way. They have enough jobs, but people are not willing to, take the jobs because of the expectation that because I study so hard and I have a degree, I have a certain expectation of pay, luxury, and comfort. But whereas in Singapore, because we are focused on multinational companies coming to Singapore, and we do have the education there is a demand and supply here. But over there, it's like there's an oversupply of people, but an undersupply of businesses, right? Which is why China is like pushing for a lot of like SMEs. But again, it's about the funding, it's about the rent, like all the small bits of what it's required to build a business is not there compared to Singapore. So Singapore, we are fortunate enough to have, grants, resources, support. And that is why I decided to go with the flow, to go with the trend, in other words, because that's where the money lies. Unfortunately, like, I think that's, for me, my truth, I feel like because of the money, where the money comes from, it's from the government. How can I navigate myself in this very, very uncertain times, to stay in trend, to stay in the know, and to be in demand, right? Maybe one day, this whole campaign will be gone. And that's okay, because at least I'm preparing myself to be what we call anti-fragile, right? It's like despite good times, despite bad times, I am going to be prepared and equipped with the right skill set and knowledge to, for the market, And I think that is something that I think it's a mentality, it's a mindset that I really want to empower people to have, this anti-fragile mindset that regardless of economy, good or bad, you are always in demand. And how do you create this demand? Well, I guess, and then that would be a time for a great video, like another video. But back to Skillsfuture and all these things, right? I personally feel that, today, and I am living proof, you don't need a degree to make what a degree person is making. And I just leave it as that, okay? Not to boast about the income and whatnot, but I feel like if you know the right trends, like having this courseware developer, this diploma, I got employed by my employer, and I'm getting paid more than or I should say, I'm getting paid what a developer should be paid. And if you looked up on the job like description, you would kind of get a sensing of what my pay range would be. Just to be sensitive, I'm not going to say it, but I'll leave it as that. Yes. And I'm proud of it. I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of myself for, slogging it through, like for the last 9 months or so, to really get this certification. I'm serious. And again, as coming from a financial background, I also noticed that no job is safe. Seriously, no job is safe. Like, I can get this job now, I can get this good pay, but what if next month I'm out of job? What if I'm no longer needed? What if they found someone cheaper and better than me? Like, yeah, and that's why they say 年轻有为, like, oh, you have like this abundance of opportunity. And yeah, I think that's kind of true as well. But I have to stay in the know, right? And again, coming back to the main point is we have to be anti-fragile. A lot of the developers out there, a lot of my colleagues, a lot of my friends who are doing the same program as me, I think they're coming to their 30s. I'm already like mid-20s. And I think, this is just my hypothesis, I think I'm one of the youngest, if not the youngest, courseware developer out there in the market today. So hit me up if you are looking for developing programs for Skillsfuture. Yeah, so I think that's about it. That's what I feel like saying for this video. It's a lot to digest, but I think there's a lot of value in terms of, for me at least, the motto I have and I wanted to share with you guys is building futures partners for life. I really believe in this model where, it's all about, like, in the past, because of the lack of maturity, it's always about transaction. It's like, here's what I can do, here's how much I want, and let's do business, and it might not be ideal at the end of the day, but I realized that along the way, making friends more than enemies, I realized it's all about collaboration. It's all about community. It's all about nurturing. It's all about how can I be of service to you rather than what can I sell you. I think that's a very important message that I always wanted to share to the world, but didn't have the chance to. Yeah, so a lot of times I think, there's going to be so much follow-up questions. I can imagine people's going to ask me, so how hard is the Skillsfuture? Do I need to pay money? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we'll just leave all of that in the comments, guys. Okay, and I will try to reply you perhaps in the comments. But that also encourages me to do another video to address those concerns. Okay. So building futures, partners for life, it's a motto I have, and I really want to encourage people to kind of think about how can I work with this person for a long time, at least, how do I put it, like, regardless of age. And this is one thing I always get. A lot of people say, oh, you're so young, you're so lucky, I wish I was your age, what was I doing at my age? People keep saying that to me. My advice to them is this: for those who are more senior, my seniors, right? What you have is time. What you have is your experiences. What I don't have is everything that's opposite of you. Perhaps you have savings, perhaps you don't. For me, I'm starting from scratch, So, they always say the grass is greener on the other side and stuff like that. I had enough of it. Seriously, really enough of it. So all I want to tell you, what I'm going to say to all the people that's watching my videos is, please appreciate what you have, especially if you're Singaporean. I think you have a lot of things to be grateful for compared to our neighboring friends. And if for some particular reason our neighboring friends is watching, please reach out. I would love to invite you over. I want to share with you some of my big projects that I have on hand. I would love to create a platform to kind of link up all the trainers, especially if you are certified on this like Malaysia level, government level, right? We could do so many projects together, and hopefully, in the next couple of years, we are able to empower the special needs people to be able to employ them to do our groundwork, our behind the scene works, because I think we are all able, and I can empathize. I can really empathize the I'm not sure what's the word I'm looking for. I can empathize this feeling of like, I'm not wanted, I'm not seen, like nobody wants me, and doubting my self-worth. And I think this is a thing that not only everyday people, cis people, or whatever people experience, but it's like everyone experiences this. It's just in different ways, different forms. It just manifests differently. But I just feel like someone needs to be out there to say these kind of things and really like start a movement, like just by me saying this out, perhaps we can start a conversation about it. And I think that's really the whole essence of this video, is to start conversations. And I think we need more people to start conversations. Like I got all these equipments, but I don't publish as much as I should, post. Yeah. So, with that said, I think I will come to the end of this video. I will create another video for the next topic that kind of picks up. Let's see how this goes. I am planning to also launch like tutorials or like small clips out of this long form, and let's see how it performs. And we'll go from there, step by step. If not, this is Riley signing off, and I hope to see you in the next video.